Good evening, my friends. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to our Saturday night version of this thing of ours, April the 27th. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of our conclave, our convocation, our coterie, our cadre, our cabal, our coven. Thank you. Thank you immensely. Let me remind you, always remember that it is 192 days until the election. And I'm telling you, my friends, there is no way that Joe Biden can possibly hobble to the finish line. Everybody is saying, everybody involved in this, all the people involved in Democratic politics are saying there's no way he can do it. There is no way he can do it. But I thank you, my friends. I thank you so much to discuss, so much to enjoy. Let us think. Remember, let truth be our pole star. That's it. That's our bottom line. Truth. Just believing in the truth. Speaking the truth. That's all. That's all. Let me remind you, dear friends, to please subscribe to this. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are liking this video. It is so important, so critical, so imperative that you continue to check, that you remain subscribed, that you do subscribe, and that you push us into this new level of algorithmic metrics. Because what we do is we think about stuff. We think about everything. There is nothing that we don't think about. But we don't think about it in the usual ways. I don't want to just read headlines. I want to say, what does this mean? What is this all this about? What is the real story behind this? So, my friends, remember, please, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much, dear, dear, dear friends, for being a part of this great and glorious aspect. And please, before we begin, I think we already have begun, which is redundant. Before we begun, we have begun. In any event, please listen very carefully to these incredibly potent and critical words from our incredibly potent and critical sponsor. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have control, still have time, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Your first step is going to my website at preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Your next step is stocking up on multiple 4-week emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply. And for a limited time, take $50 off a 4-week emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 4-week kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day, 16 varieties, 25 years shelf life, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, drinks, and they're sealed inside 2 31-pound rugged waterproof buckets, and they last up to 25 years in storage. Take advantage right now, my friend, and go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com. Let me ask you a good question. I think a fair question. A question nobody wants to ask, but I'm going to ask you a question. Is there anything that you can think of that would and should immediately eliminate a person from the presidency of the United States? Anything in particular? Can you think of anything? Medical condition, psychiatric condition, substance abuse, psychiatric condition, emotional imbalance, anything at all. Anything at all. If you found out that a president of the United States had suffered from bouts of schizophrenia, would you believe that would eliminate him from consideration as president? Yes or no? Do you? Schizophrenia. You found out that years ago, the president had a serious schizophrenic episode, hospitalized, was committed, but is doing fine now, but bravely tackles schizophrenia and wants to make people aware of the fact that we should not demonize people because of their mental health problems. Do you believe that would in any way disqualify a person? Yes or no? Tom Eagleton, Mark Lewis, had apparently, I think he suffered from not suffered, he had depression. I think he was received ECT. Do you believe that schizophrenia? Schizophrenia. Answer my question. Schizophrenia, psychosis. Yes or no? Answer that question. Yes or no, schizophrenia. Focus on this. By the way, schizophrenia does not mean multiple personalities, Pittman. It does not mean multiple personalities. That's not what it means. Schizophrenia. I'm waiting. Faye says no. So you should not eliminate somebody immediately who has suffered from schizophrenia in the past. Schizophrenia. Now, if dementia doesn't like Biden, okay, Biden dementia. Does Biden have dementia? Does Biden have dementia, or does he have some type of senescence or cognitive slowdown? Is it dementia? Dementia is your word that we use. We use these words, but is it dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? I mean, what dementia is kind of like an overwhelming. He may absolutely, positively not be demented or suffering from dementia at all. Do you believe that if he had schizophrenia? Yes. 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 This is not only relapse, you're never the same. This is the easiest question there is. You're never the same. You're going to let somebody in charge of the nuclear codes who had an episodic bout of schizophrenia who hears voices? Are you kidding me? With all due respect to the mentally ill. Are you kidding me? It depends on how close he is to the nuclear code. He's the president. This is the most simple question of anything I've ever heard. No, you do not have a president. No, maybe, I don't know if this, maybe, are you okay? Are you all okay? Do you understand this? If you watch right now what I'm saying, I asked the question, with schizophrenia, it's like nobody's listening to what I'm saying, which is fine. This is fascinating. I think you have schizophrenia. You're talking about everything, buddy. Poops in his pants. Poops in his pants. What are you talking about? The dementia. We're not talking about dementia. Well, I don't know about dementia. I'm not really sure. We're not talking about dementia. What are you talking about? The question is simply this. Let's start off with this. Schizophrenia now. Okay. Schizophrenia. What about depression? Clinical depression. He was hospitalized. Clinical depression, and he currently is on medication right now because of depression. Yes or no? Anybody? Alcoholism. He's an alcoholic. Somebody who's 20 years sober. That's okay. 20 years sober. What about heroin? What about Bobby Kennedy? What about Bobby Kennedy? Does that Bobby Kennedy? You know Bobby Kennedy. Well, you know he was in heroin. Bobby Kennedy, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's great. RFK heroin addiction. His one brother, David. Remember David? Wow. You understand this? Heroin addiction. Does the fact that he was a heroin addict for 14 years? Are you a heroin addict for 14 years, or are you always a heroin addict? My question. Anybody? What do you do when you are a heroin addict and you have been going to, I guess, meetings or using a variety of support? What do you do when you're a president? Can't go to a meeting. What do you do? When the pressure signals, things can trigger you. Oh, Matthew Perry was, especially when he was going around telling, I'm an addict. Remember that one? He died of a he was just the most, it's very sad about him, but just the most annoying person. I mean, the most annoying person. Oh, dear God. The most annoying person. I think anybody, he just would not shut up about that. Okay, fine. It's very sad. My point is, why is anybody talking about this? Why is anybody talking about this? I don't. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to suggest that people should be demonized or whatever. I think anybody who's trying their best to fight this terrible demon. My question to you is simply this: an addict is somebody who technically is an addict for the rest of their life. They're not an ex-addict. They're always an addict, and anything can bring them back into it again. And I don't know what a president would do if the president ever had to get heroin. I don't even know. It's a fascinating issue. What would he do? Order the Secret Service? I don't think so. What would this do in terms of ability to focus now alcoholism? Nixon was a tippler. LBJ was really something. Harding, I think a lot of people were. I think Harding was. That's being drunk versus whatever. The point is, why does anybody talk about this? I will never understand. We talk about everything but talk about this and that, and he's an anti-vaxxer. Okay, that doesn't bother me. My question is, what happens if somebody's a heroin addict or was a heroin addict? What does that mean? And again, not trying to be mean, but the question is, I think, well taken. Shake your booty says, I had a neighbor who took his own life, 45 years old, PhD teacher. The man was close to 500 pounds and had terrible depression. In his note, he wrote that he had never received a Valentine in his life. Oh my God. How horrid. How horrid. I just don't think anybody's really talking about mental health. And when it comes to these people, how I despise the Kennedys. I've always despised Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy, to me, is when I saw these people standing up at the White House, we're the Kennedys. I'm thinking, who in the hell do you think you are? What do you think this is? Some kind of dynastic group? And you want to know, what is a genetic predisposition for this beaver-like dentition? These people could eat an apple through a picket fence. What is the matter? What isn't that something? The Kennedys, the Osmonds, put them all together, and you would have this incredible group. Oh, well, maybe the not the Bee Gees. I think Barry, Robin Gibb might have been. But anyway, but all these people, I just saw that today. And I was thinking about Mary Jo Kopechne and the Kennedys and these horrible people. Bobby Kennedy, the father, predator, civil rights, absolutely, maybe one of the most ruthless, despotic, care nothing about anybody, probably the worst, maybe because he was considered the runt of the litter and he was Jack's hatchet man. I don't know. What does that do to your mentality? What does it do when somebody says that you've been around so much mental illness and your whole life you've been raised in this dynastic fantasy world about who you are and you're special and the rules don't really apply to you, and that you can have women that you want and you keep track of who. How much does a person's personality mean? They talk about Trump. Trump is very meat and potatoes. Trump is very basic. Trump is very, very basic. There's nothing really to him. He's not at all. I don't think he's complex at all. I think those Kennedys live in a world of make believe, and I cannot wait until we can go, but never have to hear or see from them. See them again. I don't know what it is. I despise people who think they are better than the rest by virtue of who they are and where they're from or where they went to school. Like that Jack Schlossberg, who wants to be like his uncle John. Kind of looks like him, standing around there, the whole bare chested thing. I want to puke. Okay. You could take all these people, get rid of them. Just get rid of these people. They have no interest. Bobby Kennedy was okay. He had some good things to say. You notice how he hasn't said anything about Israel. You notice that? That is so fascinating. I can't get anybody to talk about that. I can't get anybody to talk. I can't get anybody to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. Here he is. From parts unknown, weight unknown. Number 15 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Give it up for my man and yours, our friend and yours, Mr. Sparky. Sparky says, missed your last live show. What always works when pulled over by law enforcement is using your best condescending and transatlantic accent. Apparently, you don't know who I am. Yes. Yes, apparently, you don't know who I am. Yes. Mid-Atlantic. Yes. Yes. Go ahead, do what you must. I love ordinary. I told you our friend, his funeral is going to be this week. Father James Lloyd, our friend, 93, 93, 103. I keep saying 93. He's 103. He was 103. And I'm going to put a picture. I got to put a picture of us up. I've got a nice picture I'm going to show you. And I don't want to do that too because I'm always afraid. I never talk about deaths of friends and deaths of relatives or parents or anybody. I just don't do that. I don't do that. Unless there's a reason for it, because invariably what people will do is they'll do it about themselves. They go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My condolences." I was like, "No, don't worry about it. No, don't send it to me." I mean, I know people say that. I know people say it out of practice, but it's like, "Oh, no, don't say that about me. It's not about me. No, not about them." I hate that. "Oh, I'm so sorry." How people on Twitter, have you seen this on Twitter? I'm telling you right now, if anything ever happened to Mrs. L or me, I might mention something, but that's it. I'm not going to share grief or anything on. I am private. I don't talk about that stuff. And I mean, my heart is broken. It's like, keep it to yourself. You're making this about you. You're showing me your own grief, your own. That's one thing about the Kennedys. They learned how to handle grief. I mean, they had so much death. My God. I mean, royally but the reason why I brought my friend Father Lloyd was he said, don't take yourself seriously. Oh, that's such a good thing. You are so insignificant. You are so cosmically insignificant. It doesn't even matter. You are nobody. You are nothing. Start with that. You are a fleck, a speck of dust in the cosmic void. You are nothing. Enjoy that. Be relieved of your responsibility of greatness because you're not great. You have nothing to do. You're just a regular Joe, a regular person. That's all you are. You're just a regular person. Isn't that wonderful? It is. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Today I was getting the car wash and I ran into a guy. So you go, but there's a stretch. Oh, the looks. And I ran into a fellow. I'm not going to mention his name, but I hope he's watching. And he says, "Excuse me, you're doing a great job." I said, "Hi, nice to meet you." He says, "Can I take a selfie?" I said, "I'd be honored. I would be honored." And I said, he goes, "Well, I don't want to bother you." I said, "Bother me? Why would you not want to bother me? We're always telling people all the time, listen to us, like us, watch us, do this, follow us. And my whole thing is follow my logic, not me. Follow my information, not me. I mean, it's not me, it's the anyway. So we were talking, and he said he was apparently a driver, and he worked with a lot of people, different. He says told me all the people that he's met who are jerks, real jerks. I don't understand it, because people don't understand. You got to take yourself. You're not important. You're insignificant, and you are liberated by your insignificance. You're liberated. You are not bound by any kind of delusional ideation of this cosmic importance. I'm this, I'm that. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's why the Kennedys have to learn humility, to be humbled. Mrs. Fannie Ray Thompson says, when Ted Kennedy swam out of the car and let Mary Jo Kopechne drown a horrid death, he called his cousin, the lawyer Joe Gergen, and begged him to say he had been driving the car. Gergen refused. Oh, Fannie, it's so, you really know your stuff. By the way, I don't believe he swam. Well, his story was, and the story is so horrid. I will tell you that there is a wonderful, if you want to hear a tremendous piece on this, let me give a shout out to this. This is the what am I saying? This is what am I saying? This is the one to listen to. This is a show called America's Untold Stories. And this is one of this is the most thorough disquisitions and pieces ever. Let me just I'll put a link to it right there. It is that good. And I want to celebrate great scholarship and great work by a lot of people. And I mean it. This is the great piece here. This is the great piece. And what's interesting is this fellow's name is Mark Gruber, who, interesting, blocked me on Twitter. No problem. Doesn't matter. But he and Mr. Hunley do. This is one of the best pieces ever. And I just wanted to, speaking of Mary Jo, because I believe that great, again, blocked. I don't know. I've been blocked by people. David Crosby, Keith Olbermann, Alec Baldwin. God. I think Tater, Stelter. I don't know. But in any event, it's a fascinating story. And like I said, great scholarship should be lauded. It's true. It's very, very good. Very good stuff. Excellent piece. So thorough. You realize how they own the Kennedy machine, and they didn't care about her. She meant nothing in this family, the Kopechne family that was destroyed. But Ted Kennedy was destroyed. He was going to walk in to that nomination. He was riding on the coattails of his dead brothers. That's it. And Ted Kennedy, who got somebody to take a Spanish test for him. A Spanish test, not physics. Spanish. Jesus. Incredible. Then he was, I think he was thrown out of Harvard for that. And then he had this terrible, his driving. Oh, he was despicable. Ted Kennedy was just absolutely the lion of the Senate. No. I never bought that bullshit from the beginning. And I'm telling you right now, when people who think they're better than them, sorry. But here's the thing, which is interesting. When you look at Bobby Kennedy, and I'm thinking, Why am I supposed to take you seriously? You picked the woman, the woman who's, I don't even know who she is, who was married to the Google guy. She's second in command, and this bothers me. And another thing too is, I hate to say this. I know this sounds so cruel, but vice presidents really matter when you vote for a Kennedy. I'm sorry, but historically, not good. Not good. I mean, I'm sorry. It's like if you, Bobby Kennedy even says, I need Secret Service protection. They're always trying to, I'm always under threat. It's like, okay, so who's your vice president? Her? This one? Bobby, you just lost me. You don't want to be president, do you? You don't want to be president. You don't want to be president. And where's Shmuley Botia? Who, remember how hard Shmuley, remember Bobby didn't, right before Gaza, right before, it was this, and I stand with Israel. Right, Shmuley? Yes. Because Bobby Kennedy came up with some idea. Remember the story. Bobby Kennedy came up with a story that said that there may be a pathogen, a virus, something biogenetically constructed to target Ashkenazi Jews or Sephardi. I mean, there are sometimes like the BRCA1, BRCA2, whatever gene affects people. What is it? Is it Rye syndrome or is it Rye syndrome? No. I'm trying to think of it. I get to Rye syndrome. Is that aspirin? I get them confused. Anyway, you might find there may be African Americans, sickle cell, which was an attempt to deal with the predisposition to malaria. So anyway, so Bobby Kennedy made some statement, and he was at some Italian restaurant on the Upper East Side. And lo and behold, somebody overheard it, and they said, "You're an anti-Semite." He says, "I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm telling you that viruses, whatever, might be targeted one day based upon genomes or whatever." And they said, "You're an anti-Semite." He says, "I'm not an anti-Semite. Here, let me get Shmuley." So Shmuley came in and said, "He's not an anti-Semite. He lives Israel, and he talks about Israel, and he loves Israel." And Mrs. Owen and I went to see him at the Glass House, and he lives there. I said, "Okay, I got it. Take it easy. Take it easy." I go, "No, you don't understand. My father taught me in the Israel and the Palestinians and then Shmuley went apeshit, bananas. Remember when he was with Junk Yogurt, and they're screaming at each other, and he's on with Finkelstein, and he's screaming, and Shmuley is going out of his mind, and he's and Bobby's thinking, "Oh my God. Shmuley, take it down, tone it down. Okay, you got it." And then, pow, October the 7th. Don't see Shmuley now. They're saying, now what is he going to do? What's he going to do? Bobby Kennedy, I'm worried he's going to be a killer. Let me ask you something. Whom? It's always good to start off with who. I smell the whom. There's no object of any preposition or any kind of objective key. Anyway, who do you think is most affected, or who shares the votes with Bobby Kennedy? Would it be John? Would it be Trump, or would it be Biden? I don't know. I'm afraid it might be Trump. No, you don't understand. He's Bobby Kennedy. Nobody gives a shit about the Kennedys. Nobody knows about the Kennedys today. Nobody knows about the Kennedys today. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody knows. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a complete and total joke. Nobody cares about the Kennedys. What is this? Profiles of Courage. Ted Sorensen wrote that. Their whole life is a fraud. Remember when Ted Kennedy, he lost the boat? I mean, but John Kennedy, I don't want to go through that. I'm going to go through that again. Anyway, so we'll see. But anyway, so now we hear the latest. You ready for this one? You ready for this one? Oh, this is gonna get your story. You ready? I hope you're sitting down, friends. I hope you're sitting down for this one. Oh my God. I hope you're sitting down. Oh my God. Get ready. Yale professor accuses Columbia president Shafiq of plagiarism, intellectual theft in a resurfaced 1994 research paper. Dear God. No. That's my what is her name? Star. Jessica Star. No. Embattled Columbia president Nemat Minouche, in quotes, Minouche. Is this a nickname? It's in quotes. Minouche. All right. You don't want to say, anyway. Nemat Minouche Shafiq screwed, this is from the New York Post, screwed a former underling out of credit on a research paper published 30 years ago, according to a Yale University professor. Screwed? Ahmed Mushfiq Mubarak, like Hasni, posted the bombshell allegations in a blistering thread on X early Friday, juxtaposing images of a 1992 report Shafiq co-authored for World Bank with researcher Sushenjit Bandyopadhyay, along with a journal published in Oxford Economic Papers 2 years later, in which name was removed. Dear God, have you no decency at long last, sir? Mubarak, an economics management professor at Yale, told the Post the findings and research cited in both papers are pretty much equal. It got rewritten, but fundamentally it's the same paper. Dear God, have you no shame? I am disgusted. Disgusted. Oh my God. Unbelievable. And you can read the blistering. By the way, this is from Ahmed Mushfiq Mubarak. Listen to these. Listen to this one. Listen to this. Listen to this tweet. And let me just, it's about COVID. It is so, I don't even want to refer to it as ribaldry, but it's frenetic in the volume of the repost. This bloodthirsty, banshee like horrific scream of veracity. Get ready. Listen to the tenacity and the temerity and the intrepidity of this man. You ready for this? The pandemic made clear the importance of understanding human behavior. I intentionally avoided speaking about COVID at World Health Organization because behavioral science will not diminish in relevance when pandemic ends. We need a systemic change in thinking at biomedically focused organizations. No period. He leaves out, it's like, who wrote? Tarzan wrote this. Wow. How much did they pay this guy? How much do they, I just, academics, I'm convinced, I'm trying to say, aren't worth anything. I'm not hearing anything. Read anything Cass Sunstein has said about anything, except for cognitive interference, or no, cognitive, not interference, cognitive infiltration. Now, does anybody care about her? No. I don't understand what's going on here. There's a picture of Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld is being yelled at for, look, let me explain to you something. Here's my position. Number one, stop killing people in Gaza. Can I say that? 35 plus thousand? Stop it. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody got a problem with it? Stop it. I'm not done. Stop it. Hamas, stop it. Israel, stop it. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody? Have I stepped on any toes? Tell me what's wrong with that. Hamas, Israel, cut this out now. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody? You must have a problem with that because you can't. What about Hamas? I mentioned Hamas. What about Israel? I mentioned Israel. What is the debate here? I don't understand. Stop it. Stop it. You know what we did with Vietnam? We stopped it. We left. We said, that's it. Stop it. Now, and by the way, it's more than stopping the killing. There has to be, we'll get to the issue of, living conditions and the like. But I don't understand. Stop it. Stop it. I don't understand this. So we're not there yet, obviously, because we're talking about, campuses. And they had a swastika on a campus. Really? Yes. What do you think? What should you do if somebody has a swastika on a campus, is brandishing a swastika at a campus? What are you supposed to do about that? What are you supposed to do? Okay, hold off on that. This guy over here has a battle flag. It's a Confederate States battle flag. What about them? What do you do with them? Same thing? No, that's different. That's not as bad. Says who? Black people think that's their swastika. They say, they go, I feel unsafe. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stonewall Jackson, triggered. Get rid of it. Swastika. Okay. What about you? BLM. Get that down. Crucifix. American flag. Take everything down. George Floyd. George Washington. Count Floyd. Floyd the barber. What are you supposed to do? Ukrainian flag. Russian flag. Anything else? No Bibles. No Bibles. That's right, Pittman. Pittman got it right. No Bibles. Transphobic. Trigger warning. I don't understand. What are we supposed to do? I don't understand. We got to get them off the campus. Why? Well, they're protesting. Why? They're saying terrible things. Okay. Is there a rule against protesting? Well, not really. Not per se. Well, is there a rule against protesting? Well, I'm not protesting. Well, is there protesting, to an extent, yeah, but, maybe it's hard to say. Wait a minute. What? What are we supposed to do with trigger warnings? What are we supposed to do about that? Where does this stop? Where does this stop? I'm dead serious. Where does this stop? Where do we go with this? Tell me where do we go? Tell me where do we go? Where does it end? Tell me where does it end? Where does it go? I ask you, dear friends, where do we end this? Just tell me where it ends. Let me know where it goes. What are we supposed to do? Seriously, honestly, what are we supposed to do? Fill me in on this one. Sparky says, student protesters' issue isn't Israel or Hamas, is Israel-Palestine. Don't let the MSM fool you. Oh, no, I'm with you. Oh, Sparky, I'm with you 100%. I honest to God, I swear to you, I know, because there's a conflation, and there are people who says we're not here to talk about Hamas. Hamas is the portion. This is a Gaza, and you can argue whether this is a terrorist organization, whether they were duly elected, rightfully elected. That's up to you. That's not what we're talking about. Sparky, I agree with you 100%. Where do we end with this stuff? Why are we picking up little girls and slamming them down? There's this one cop who basically tackles her, goes, hey, he should get the Heisman. What if this was your daughter? What if you break somebody's back? What if you paralyze her? And he picks her up and he manhandles her. If I didn't know better, I think some of these guys are getting off on that. Does this make sense to you? Is this good for you? Are you happy about this? Stand by for a second, my friends. Stand by, dear friends. Stand by. Because it's time for me to bring to your attention another bit of important information from another one of our great and wonderful sponsors. It's no longer a question of if something is coming, it's when. The only shock, the what, the how. While you still have some control, what are you going to do about it? Well, the first step is to go to my website at preparewithlionel.com. The next step is stocking up on multiple one-week emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply. Priced at under $50, now's the time to buy in bulk. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These one-week kits with ready-hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day. And they're sealed inside a rugged ammo can so they can last up to 25 years in storage. So just grab it and go in. That's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at MyPillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0. My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Thank you. That makes sense. I didn't want to play the wrong one for you. Let me ask you this question, and Sparky hits on it. I'm so tired of this stuff. Has anybody, any candidate, whether it's Trump or Biden, said, what about free speech? Are you telling me that if these kids, these folks, these students change to God bless America, same thing, tents, passing out the sushi, Soros sponsored, but they said, God bless America. Would there be a problem? No. Oh, so it's the message. So certain messages are banned and certain aren't. Is that what you're saying? Seriously. Now, I guess the good news is, and I would love to see this, I wish we would close down universities. We don't need them. Look, let me explain something to you. COVID taught us we can remote anything. We can be anywhere we want, doing anything we want, at any time we want. We don't need to be in a brick and mortar classroom. We don't. We don't need to be there. We don't need to be in a brick and mortar classroom. Now, if you're in medical school, I think it's important to go to anatomy classes and surgery. But short of that, I would venture to say, even law schools, you don't need to physically be there. You want to hear lectures. Oh, of course, you can meet great people and have the rap sessions and smokers and, dining halls. That's all bullshit. You don't need that. You could save a lot of money. You can get rid of half of these people, these academics writing this nonsense. And you can really kind of reevaluate what is it that these organizations, these businesses, these colleges are trying to accomplish. And that's really the most important thing to figure out. What is it that they're actually truly trying to accomplish? What are they what are they really doing? What are they actually doing? Do we need any of this? Who are these people? How did they get there? And what is happening? Do we need any of this? Why are people spending $60,000 a year for what? Seriously, for what? I would be so happy to put an end to these self-styled lunatics. Have you seen? Ivy League may have meant something in the old days. When Oppenheimer went, when you had to speak Greek, when you had, I don't know, the days of Bill Buckley or something. Then in the 60s, it went straight to shit. It just went, I don't know what the purpose of this is. I really mean it. I think one of the biggest cons ever is how they provide you with this immediate sense of, oh, they must be saying something that makes sense because they're the Ivy League. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Ronald Joseph Weech says, does Mrs. L help you choose your little Bo Peep outfit? I have no idea what that means, but thank you very much. Thank you. Sparky says, well, what about college football and basketball? Well, what about it? What about it? Have a school, have a team. Great. Do I have to go to the classroom during the week for my education class? Have a team. That's okay. We right now have the New York Jets, the New York Giants. What difference does it make? Can I enjoy those things? Yeah. Why do I have to go anywhere to? So have it. You can have high school or college games on Saturdays and enjoy whatever it is. And you can still cut down the tuition by whatever, because most of the time you do not have to go to a class. You do not physically have to go there. Still have the teams. That's fine. John Maz says, watching the video of the entitled Monroe County DA in New York on your shows this morning was unbelievable. I, being a retired police officer, dislike when somebody would say the light wasn't red. I love being in the 58 Club. Yes. Yes. Thank you. And thank you for your service. Oh, she was incredible. That's from Monroe County. Yes, we broke that one down. This horrible harridan, this absolute harridan, this virago. Do you know who I am? It's made me sick. I can't stand it. And as you will know, officer, I'm sure you'll be able to verify this. If people are, look, you're not given a quota. I know that if it has been happening, there are speed trap cities, yes, but most of the time you're not. And if somebody were to say to you, your sergeant would say, listen, Harrison, come here. You've never given out a speeding ticket. That could be a problem. But if I'm nice to you and you have any way of giving me a break, and I'm assuming I'm not committing murder or whatever, it might behoove me to treat you like a human being. That's where these arrogant bastards don't make any sense. They don't work. It's not funny. It's not funny. And I don't get that. So anyway, so that's that. Now, my friends, I've been thinking about so much about these, what we're doing, what is happening. Sparky says, by the way, oh, I'm sorry. Sparky says, you missed my super chat about your mad Ted Kennedy. I am so sorry. My apologies. What about college football? You're right. And hang on a minute here. I'm so sorry. Just a second here. Sparky, just a second. I missed my chat. What about I'm trying to see, you missed my super chat about Ted Kennedy. Did I see? Hang on just a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Some say after passing a policeman, Ted got paranoid and had Mary Jo take the car while he walked and swam home. Mary Jo wasn't too familiar with driving. This story may have worked better for Ted. Yes, I heard that, and I'm sorry I missed you. You're right about that. There was also questions by the amount they believe, and it is and again, Mr. Gruber, who speaks to this and is far more knowledgeable than I, made some type of suggestion that based upon the configuration of the car and how sides of the car indicated that they were crushed, that it's highly likely that the steering wheel could have protected her. She had very little markings or physical damage. She might have been in the car for up to 5 hours trying to get out. So I don't know. But this goes to show you the mentality of Ted Kennedy. This goes to show you, I don't know you, but to just say, either way, I'm not going to leave until I get her out. Not to go home and then call up Dick Goodwin and Ted Sorensen and I think McNamara. I mean, they swooped in and came up with the most contrived, fabricated, this labyrinthine Rube Goldberg story, which, even though fantastic, actually benefited him tremendously because you couldn't disprove it, couldn't disprove. I mean, it was just, all of it would have been so easy if you just said it went off and I tried to help her and that's it. It's like, what are you doing in the car with her? We were all together. We drove off the thing. I took a right versus a left for the ferries to the left. I went this way. I didn't know what was going on. The car went in. Simple. But this is the mentality, and he of them all. How about when Roger Mudd asked him the question? Roger Mudd, who really should have gotten the job instead of Dan Rather, said, "Why do you want to be president?" I think it was Mudd who asked. And he couldn't answer the question. Couldn't answer the question. That probably did more than anything else. See, you make a mistake, and if it's not grave, you'll get by, you'll suffice. But if the mistake is so inane, so huge and colossal, there's no way around it. You would think that as part of your kata, you would say, let's practice these things. Why do you want to run? What can you do? What would be your the top 3 things you do? What would be your priorities? What needs to be changed? What's the biggest problem facing? Let's talk about, you would be practicing. You would have people say, let's talk about this. They would explain it to you. You would listen to people describe positions. You would say basically the same thing over and over and over. You would be constantly reminded of how you had to be ready. Unlike Sarah Palin, who couldn't answer anything. Remember that? They didn't even work with her. They asked her once, who was it? Katie Couric said, "What magazines do you read?" She couldn't answer that. Mr. Sparky says, college has become a grift. It's a $100,000 4-year vacation for most, which wastes prime working years while putting them in crippling debt. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to go a step further and say that I don't think college should. You're really not to be in a position. You really can't truly be in the position of grasping a lot of things. At least you're minimum 25. I say 30 max. It's not. Do you know when you were a kid and certain things you did not like? There were certain things. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like such and such. I don't like succotash. I don't like, and your palate wasn't developed yet. Your taste buds weren't developed yet. You weren't ready for it. You just weren't there yet. And then later on, as your taste became more and more mature, as you were able to differentiate certain subtleties of flavor, you were better able to appreciate gustatory differences. Okay, fine. That sometimes is the same thing that happens regarding really understanding things. And I don't think an 18-year-old or 19-year-old or starting off is really able to grasp the notion of Socratic, didactics. And I mean, it's okay, but sorry, I just don't think so. And not only that, it's not a matter of understanding it, it's appreciating it. That's the thing. I told you years ago there was a study that wanted to see what's the difference between older folks and younger folks. And younger folks were very good at doing quick kind of a whack-a-mole stuff, eye-hand coordination and doing quick, mental gymnastics, showing facility and whatever it is. But older folks, and I don't know exactly how that older aspect was defined, but older folks were better able to tell differences between this situation and that situation. They were much better at saying this is different than that. This is different. This because that involved this thing called judgment. Let me say something which I did a prior video this eve, and I hope you're subscribed to the channels. I hope you are, which is very, very important. And I did a video which is something which is very, very important to me. It's called Rad Left Wokies Are Freaked Out Over Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson Questioning Evolution and Moon Landings. Now, let me explain something to you. And I'm sure you're able to understand it. And let me make sure you have. This is the link right here. Please watch it. Please. This is why it's important. Because the people who think they run the show are going apeshit over it. They don't know what to do. They're saying, you're talking about what? You're talking about moon landings? Yes. Joe Rogan is talking about the moon landing hoax? Yes. Why? Because he wants to. That's crazy. He doesn't think so. Tucker Carlson doesn't believe in Darwin. He believes that it's God. Wait a minute. What? Yes, that's crazy. Tucker doesn't believe so. How do you like that? The Cambrian explosion, we've already been through this. Now, what I want you to take from this is not that we're going to be relitigating the moon landing. But here's what I'm saying. If you want to talk about that, welcome. Welcome home. And they can call, and whatever they say about you, I am with you 100%. I back you up. You want to talk about the moon landing? Go ahead. You think it's bullshit? Go ahead. You think it's you don't think it's possible, the Van Allen belt and the thickness of the go ahead. You think it was just some backlot thing? Go ahead. You want to listen to people? Go ahead. You want to anything you want to talk about. Anything you want to talk about. Misinformation, disinformation, data information, call it whatever you want. I'm with you 100%. If you're interested in it, I'm interested in it. Whatever it is, whatever you want to. Look at that, Christos. Oh, God bless him. The Honeyman. Yes, sir. This and that. By the way, loved the Los Lobos piece. Aren't they great? Los Lobos is one of the hidden, like the Mavericks, one of these hidden gems of American musical theater. Thank you, my dear friend. The very fact that Tucker Carlson says, I don't believe there's no evidence of Darwin at all. And you can tell Joe's like, well, I don't care. I love it. Keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. Why? Are they getting pissed off? Yeah, good. 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 Same thing goes, by the way, if somebody says, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in nobody, whatever it is, you should be able to speak out everything, anything you want. And my friends, you know what's happening. CNN is going back now. They're trying to unravel. They are so screwed up. They're going to bring Fredo Cuomo back. He's been in exile for the longest time. Fredo Cuomo, nobody knows where the hell he was. He was like in Elba. He was like in some witness protection program. They thought he retired. They go, no, he's over there. He's going to go back to CNN doing this stuff that nobody cares about. Because they're so desperate. And I want to know things for sure because I find them fascinating. History, news to me is like magic. I know it's a trick. I know you're lying to me. I just want to know how you did it. What are you lying about? It's a matter of degree. When you watch a musician, you know it's not true. You know that the car didn't fly. How did you do it? Tell me how you're lying. Do you believe that we could have fooled them, the world with the moon landing? Yes. I have a big problem with that. One thing and one thing only. And I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with the facts of it. I cannot believe that with all the countries that have able, qualified, genius cosmologists and astrophysicists and you name it, and astronauts, certainly Putin or somebody would have loved to say, guess what I found out? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember this guy? Yeah. I'd like you to meet our person. This is our mission control guy. And we know something that the world would. Do you think Russia did everything first? Sputnik, Laika, the dog, Yuri Gagarin, the woman, whatever her name was. I think we set up a monkey. I don't know what the hell we did. They were doing everything. Fit the cosmonauts and back and forth. Germans, Werner von Braun, they came over here. The Russians, every 5 minutes, another one. We couldn't even get a rocket ship off the planet. And Russia never did it? Yeah. Why? So do you mean to tell me if they sat around in the whatever their NASA version is, sat around with Khrushchev and whatever, and they sat around and go, can you believe this bullshit, little squirrel? What, Boris? Can you believe this? The shadows don't match up. Look at, can you believe this shit they're doing with the sky and this? This is the, put it out. Tell them, hello, yes, hello, I'm Nikita Khrushchev, yes. This is bullshit. Here's why. Ha ha ha. Nothing. Not Germany, not France, no other country. The Indians didn't say, I know what that was. I know what that was too. Yes, I do. You're thicker. All of you Americans, how dare you? And we get all these people laughing. Nobody ever said, you can't wear this. This is your suit. Do you know what they talk about, the micrometeorites? Do you know that what they were, that Werner von Braun said that there were micro meteorites that if you have, because of a speck of dust flying by on the moon, would be enough to put a bullet hole in you. That the first thing you have to do when you get off of the craft is hide because of these things that are flying. I never even knew about that. Do you mean to tell me no other country said, we got to get the Americans right? We got to do this. They're taking credit for this, and they're the first ones, and it never happened. And they did it since 1972. We got to put an end to this. Never happened. Doesn't that get you? I mean, this is everything that with all the stuff that we say, look, did you see the picture Joe Rogan talked about when the LEM goes off? It looks like it's the worst. No stars, no. Okay, fine. You mean to tell me Russia, Germany, France, India, nobody pointed this out? Nobody said, excuse me. Yeah, this never happened. This is ridiculous. No, I've got to go to some guy on a Joe Rogan show, Sibrel, who has a website. That's it? Can you imagine all of a sudden, let's go live right now to Moscow. Let's go live right now to Paris. Let's go live right now to wherever it is, to Berlin. And you've got, who are these people? I've got 100 physicists saying it never happened. You can't do that. Take that, America. It never happened. Explain that one to me. Explain that one for me. Unless somebody's blackmailing us. Okay, we'll let you go along with that if such as. But that's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense either. That's the main thing I don't understand. You've got a guy who says, We're going to spend what did Putin do again to steal the election from the election denier Hillary? What did he do? He bought what, 5 Facebook ads? What the hell did he do? I still don't know what he did. I don't know what he did. Did anybody ever tell you what he did? Hello, my name is Vasily Alexiev. Yeah, listen, this is what they did. You see this? I'm from the KGB and FSB. What I did was I put this, when you vote here, it goes here. I rewired the satellite. That would be good. What I did was we picked up this, I changed the ink and reconnected this thing with the satellite and blackout and the EMP pulse and destroyed the mainframe of the computer. That would be something. As opposed to I bought 5 Facebook ads. I don't even know what the hell he did. What did he do? But you think if somebody was said, I got a better one for you. Vasily, what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What? I'll tell you what. We're going to expose the moon landing bullshit. What? It's bullshit. Really? Yes. Oh, they won't believe that. Think what that would do. Think what that would do. And not just Russia, Germany. You think France likes us? Nobody likes us. You think they don't know? If some guy named Sabrel, whatever his name is, the guy has a website, you think he's the only one who knows this? Don't you know that they would do anything in their power to make us look like fools? And they haven't done it. Because maybe it's true. Don't ever, ever, ever give me an example. One day we were talking about 9/11. And somebody was said, you see what's happening right now. It's the plane, that thing of it, the plane went in, but it wasn't that plane. Actually, it was a detonation. And this, it was a controlled up demolition and a free fall. And that's what it does. And boom, boom, boom. And look at the squibs. And what I said, great. That's interesting. So you know what? So therefore, the official story is bullshit. Okay. Here's my question here. How do you know Al Qaeda didn't do that? What? How do you know Al Qaeda didn't wire it like you say? Let's take everything you're saying about 9/11, assuming it to be true, but the people behind it wasn't Dick Cheney, it was Al Qaeda, or Al Qaeda bought off somebody, but they did it. It was a conspiracy of Al Qaeda or ISIS or whoever the hell it was. They did it, just like you said, but they did it. Can't rule that out either. So just because I've come up with a means doesn't mean that it's the who. They never explain the who. You can sit there and say, well, you know, the idea of the plane and the Pentagon and Hanjo and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but how do you know that the CIA did that or Cheney? If what you're saying is true, Al Qaeda could have done that. They could have done this. So there's 2 parts. Yes, you can find the forensic inconsistencies. You can find the forensic problem. But then you got to ask, well, who was it who did it? And if the same bad guys, you might just have figured out a better fingerprint, a better modality of destruction. But the people who originally were blamed could very well be this. They never can, they can't rule that one out. You can't. It's just like, have you ever heard people talk about UFOs? I believe, as close as believing as I could ever get, that there are EBEs and the like. But do you believe that they're necessarily nice? Yes. No. They could be awful. Why are they nice? No. They come in peace. Wait a minute. What do you mean they come in peace? Well, they came in 1947 after we detonated the bomb. 2 years later. Oh, yeah. But they came here to show us the error of our ways. They came to show us that mankind cannot be destroying. Excuse me. Is that why they came here? Yes. How do you know that? Because that's the narrative I like. How about these people came to gloat? How about they want to see us destroy ourselves? How about they're picking us up, doing anal probes, having us mate with each other? How do you know they're good? How do you know they're nice? How do you know this? I don't know. It just doesn't go with my narrative. Like Stephen Greer, have you heard him? Oh my God. He just makes this stuff up. They're wonderful people. How do you know they're wonderful? Why do you think they're so nice? Do. What is this stuff? What if they're coming in there saying, let's go down there? They want to go, let's go get some redneck again and anally probe him. All right, let's go. We always like to go where they have mobile homes and trailers. Get Jethro and Zeke, the guy with the bib overalls. You got your ramrod? Yeah, let's make his day. People just contrive these. They have these wonderful ideas that, oh, this is the most wonderful. I asked somebody the other day, I said, do you believe that there could be other life? Well, yes. Do you believe that Jesus just came to our planet? Did he go to any others? What? Were there there could be billions of other planets with Earth-like habitation. Did Jesus go there too, or did he simulcast it? What are you talking about? Is Earth the only place Jesus went? Never thought about that. Because if he's not, there's billions of planets that may be completely Earth-like with liquid water and the whole bit. Far more advanced to us and theoretically far more capable of horrible things that we did. Are you suggesting Jesus went to all those planets? How many Jesuses were there? I never thought of that. Well, you should think about it. And to think about it, do you think Jesus said, wait a minute, I'm going where? One planet? Wait a minute. I'm going here? There's one out of a billion. Why here? Does anybody ever question anything? Don't question the Bible. Don't question it. Why? Just don't. You question anything you want. If it's a story, it's got to hold up. It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. So if you want to talk about landing on the moon, that's great. This guy, Sibrel, whatever his name is, bless his heart. What's his name? Oh, God. Sibrel. Anyway, he was on with Joe Rogan. He's the only guy who knows. He's the only guy. Come on. And by the way, don't you think other countries would be interested in it's only Americans who want to do this. Don't you understand? Hey, America, we're going to get to the bottom of this too. Do they have French and Russian and German and Spanish and Italian moon hoax debunkers or whatever? No, it's just here. Don't they want to know? We took credit for mankind. Why does anybody seem to care? Whatever. Yeah. You want to debunk it? I don't debunk magic. Nobody ever. Why? Nobody else cares about that. You got Kubrick over here. Nobody cares. Nobody. So question the questioning of the questioning. Don't just question the act. Question why nobody questions it. I don't understand it. I don't get anything. I don't understand it's like limited thinking and the like. Now, friends, you were wonderful today. You made Mrs. L's day and mine by you showing this love. She did one of the most wonderful, wonderful tributes to our friend, Father Lloyd. You would have loved this guy. Oh my God. 103. Solid. Hold it. Sparky says, remember the movie Mars Attacks? We come in peace. I want to meet the one Sparky to say, we don't come in peace. We came to anally probe. Okay? And thank you for that, sir. Now, this is Mrs. L's YouTube account. Just go to this link right there and you go right there. She is doing the most incredible work. As we speak, she's working on organizations that are trying to have safe houses for young women. Do you know what? I got to tell you something about this. Christo says international conspiracy theorists are out there, or are they? R.I.P. JBL. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was very nice. Do you know there are groups of people, I got to tell you this, who are trying to fund safe houses for women, and they have to buy period products and feminine products and tampons and the various accoutrements when we have illegals who are coming here who are handed cell phones, backpacks. I don't understand it. I do not understand. We have American girls running from domestic violence from a whole. Now, this is Mrs. L's link. And I want you, if you love me and if you love her, I want you to go and sign up, subscribe. We saw something tonight. She saw something tonight that looks like a bunch of young girls. I don't know if they were wearing red because they were Crips. Who knows? Getting revved up, almost dosing on something, ready to go out and attack like a gang initiation. Sound crazy? Not at all. Not at all. You've got to see it. Being revved up by their leader. Go out. Let's go out. Let's go. These are sick times, my friend. Is that a conspiracy theory? I don't think so. So one more time. That's it. This is Mrs. L. Subscribe to her YouTube channel and hear these incredible stories. I never thought, if you'd have told me that we, and she in particular, would have this much difficulty trying to get the attention of the powers that be over something this patently obvious, I would have never believed you. Would have never believed you. So there we go with that. All right, dear friends. So Sparky, thank you so much. Mrs. Fannie Ray Thompson, thank you. Shake your booty. Thank you. Who else? Let me see. Sparky, Mr. Weech, Mr. Maz, thank you. Thank you. CS, the Honeyman, thank you. Incredible. By the way, I've been enjoying. Do you like this hot stuff? Do you like hot, really hot stuff? I'm going to tell you something. This is, I'm not endorsing, well, I guess I'm endorsing it, but there's a group of people. Have you seen this? This is the Pucker Butt company. Have you tried this? Have you tried Pepper X? Oh, man. Pepper X. Let me just give you this link. Again, I'm just passing this one on. This is so good and so hot and so wonderful that it takes, if I get a little mayonnaise spread or something like a vegan mayonnaise or something, and I just put a couple of drops, just a couple of, and mix it up. It is a heat that doesn't burn your tongue. Your head is just, it's the most, it's like God. Have you tried this? Pepper X, the hottest pepper. Wow. that is just, it's like, forget umami. Like, for example, you notice if you say sweet, like what's the sweetest thing you've ever tasted? Well, there's no Scoville unit for sweetness. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this is sweet. This is nice. But like, oh, that's really sweet. No. This hot, it's like nothing you've ever experienced. Some is more, and also like there's the wasabi, kind of a horseradish, that nose kind of burn. That's always good too. That's fun. But this isn't your tongue. This is your head. It's wonderful. It connects because you have capsicum, I guess, receptors. Birds don't. respond to it. They can eat these peppers, but nothing. It doesn't do anything to them. And they're just wonderful. And I thought, what a great way to torture suspects. Think about that. You get some terrorist. All right, where's the time bomb? I'm not going to tell you. Load them up. And they'll go crazy. They'll spit and scream and yell. Take them to a hospital. There's no marks. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't hurt them. Think about that. You put him through writhing pain, and there's no pain. Nothing happens. Isn't that interesting? It's like making them see something, but it doesn't affect them physically. It's like it's like you don't remember it. You're not affected by it. It's fascinating. Anyway, dear friends, thank you. Thank you. Again, I ask you this. You have been so terrific and so nice and so great. I love you all. I don't say enough to it. I really love you all. And Mrs. L loves you too. Follow her at Lynn's Warriors and also on Exit Lynn's Warriors as well. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Haven't you had fun? And by the way, before I forget, we haven't done this in a while. Let's give me a quick little rundown. Where's everybody from? Give me a city and state. Don't say Ohio. I just love to see this. I imagine little red dots in a map and then strings, connecting them. What would that look like? Where are you from? John Pittman's from Texas. You stay there, okay? You stay there, Johnny, because you're weird. And I love you, man. I love you. You know why? Because you're weird. Really weird. Look at this, Jordan. St. Augustine. Did they still have that 1513? The St. Augustine or Augustine? Jersey Shore. Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. New York City. Weedsport, New York. Canada left. I love that. Whitestone, New York. Dr. Murph's from Florida. Trump country. Gloucester Point, Alabama. Cambodia. St. Pete, Pinellas County. I'm moving to New York, LOL. New York Republican Borough, UCLA. Oh, bless your heart there. Bless your heart. Lake City, Kansas. Kissimmee, Florida, by way of Miami. I Want Chickens. Thank you, Marisa. Portland, Maine, Dock of the Bay. In Kissimmee, I did this thing called Top Flight USA. This aerobatic plane thing right over Kissimmee, or Kissimmee, for those who don't know. It's right near Orlando. That was really good. Have you ever been to Withlacoochee, Lake Panasoffkee, Waimama? Sopchoppy is my favorite name of all. Cadillac, Switzerland, Florida. Christmas, we used to drive to Christmas, Florida, so my parents could mail their postcards with a Christmas. I said, this is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. We drove to Christmas. Anybody been to Casadega? Casadega, this is where all of the psychics are. Ever heard about Casadega? That's an interesting place. I liked a very interesting place is Ocala. Mrs. L loved Ocala. That's horse country. It's kind of in the middle. It's kind of central. Florida, it's just it's such an interesting place. It's not what people think. That's all I'm going to say. It's not what people think. Nudist colony in Kissimmee, St. Cloud. I went to one. They had Lake Como. Not Lake Como. It's a Lake Como. Yeah, there was not the one in Italy, but Sopchoppy, Florida. Worms, yes. Grunting, yes. Christos, yes. Worming. They grunt. They put these poles. They used to do it by electricity, but these worms called grunting, where the earthworms come to the top. Right around Dade City, and where was the place where the Bellamy brothers came? It's a rattlesnake roundup. I think is it not Hardy? Darby, Florida. Anyway, they had a rattlesnake roundup. And I thought to myself, Ybor. I was born in Ybor. My father was born in Ybor. We're second generations. Ybor City. Yep. They had was State City, Darby. There was another one too. It was called anyway, but it was Rattlesnake Roundup. And you thought to yourself, how many rattlesnakes can there possibly be? Shit. Rattlesnake fritters, rattlesnake this, rattlesnake belts. San Antonio, Florida. Big, huge, unbelievable. That was always fun. Dade City. I'm trying to think of these other little funky little I was thinking too, like Gasparilla Island is kind of neat. Boca Grande. There was anybody? Did you remember Beer Can Beach? If you're cool enough to remember that. See, because I'm also a West Coast. If you like, to me, West Coast of Florida, White Sands, Sunset, from Clearwater all the way down to Paso Grill, where the Paso Grill all the way to the Don Cesar and that whole. That's the most. I think that's the most beautiful part. I love that. East Coast, you can have it. All right, enough of that, my friends. You have a great, great, great day. Thank you so much. And please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m., my friend. Thank you so much for being who you are and what you appear to be. We love you. Talk to you then. Don't ever change. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.